Prior to us going down the list of the agenda, I want to go around the room for some introductions. I think most people know everybody here, but let's go ahead and do some introductions since we have a quorum this time. Nathan, we want to start with you.
Nathan Hughes, Columbia 911 Tech Manager.
Mark Slovenian, IT Facilities, Columbia 911.
Ryan Murphy, Columbia County Sheriff's Office.
Sean Carnahan, Money PD. Greg Brody, Vermillion Fire.
Will Steinweg, Ms. Birkenfeld Fire, Vice Chair.
Mike Fletcher, Director, Columbia 911.
Mary Jo Beck, Office Support, Columbia 911. Hannah for Operations Manager. Nichols, CFO.
Sure. Step who's fire.
And did our visitors sign in on their way in?
I have Chandra Egan from Columbia 911. Jason McCoy, ODF. Spencer Sally from A Wireless, Ron Morrison, Scappoose Police. Brian Pixley, Sheriff's Office. Hendrick.
Laverton from Vermillion.
Thank you. Everybody, I think. Is there anybody else there?
Oh, that's Jason.
Zero fire should be shown.
Okay, copy that. Any additions to the agenda before we get started?
None from staff.
Hearing none, let's move on to the approval of January's minutes. And just for a reminder to everybody, our last two meetings did not have a quorum, so we were not able to approve the minutes in those meetings. So we will be going back to January's minutes to approve those. I can entertain motions to approve.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion by Chief Pritchard, second by Officer Carnahan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. We have minutes from January. Thank you. We have appointment of committee members and alternates. We kind of talked about this last month, but now that we have a quorum, we can actually appoint some people or at least suggest to the board of directors and proceed from there. Let's start with Sheriff's Office. Are you guys good with your representatives?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Vernonia PD,
Yep.
Vernonia?
Yes.
Do you have so you're the interim, correct?
Technically speaking, I'm the interim in 2 days, but I've been authorized by the interim chief currently to act as a proxy.
Just making.
Yeah. And who would be your second, Brody?
It would be Kendrick, who's on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ms. Birkenfeld is good with their people. Chief Pritchard, are you good with, I believe it's yourself, Chief Marks?
No changes.
No changes. Columbia River, any changes to your representatives?
No.
Let's see, we've got Scappoose PD on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I have Eric as the primary, but do you have an alternate in case you can't make the meetings?
You know, one of my other personalities, that's just me, right? Yeah. That'd be
Okay.
good.
No alternate. Got it.
Back to Scappoose PD,
Let's keep it the same.
same. Spencer ODF,
Yeah, just verifying that would be myself and then Kelly as the backup.
Yes.
correct.
But yep, no changes needed.
Okay, I believe that is everybody. Did I miss anybody here or online? Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to district updates, starting with the operations report from Danelle.
Hello, staffing update. We have 2 full-time lead dispatchers, 7 full-time communication specialists, 1 part-time, 1 in training with a total of 11. We had 1 part-time trainee that is now solo. She was kind of a pseudo lateral, had 10 years of experience, but had a gap in her employment. She is doing great at filling hours that would otherwise be overtime for our full-time staff. Madison completed her training as a full-time the first week of October and is now completely on the schedule. We currently have 1 still in training. We have 3 new communication specialists with conditional job offers that are in their final stages. I'm hoping to have them started at the end of November, early of December at the latest. We did give 2 additional conditional job offers this last Friday for our current entry-level hiring that opened on October 1st. We're still accepting applications for that through November 15th. And so we're still working on testing and interviews. Our lateral hiring remains open. So if anybody knows currently qualified dispatchers, send them my way. We're always hiring for that. For our training events, we had talked last time at the last meeting about the peer support program that our district got approved and that staff are working on. So we have 2 staff members that recently attended some of that required training. Rich and Jolene have been working on that. We are all continuing to participate in the monthly leadership training with Dr. B. Hicks. It's proving to be very beneficial. And our staff participated in a couple of community events since last time we met. One was the Scappoose High School First Responders Night. Herbie, Don Ray, and Jennifer were there. It was nice to be a part of that. And the Columbia County Sheriff's Office trunk or treat at the middle school. And so we appreciate always being included in that. That was fun. I don't have anything else unless there's any questions.
Hearing no questions for Danelle. Thank you, Danelle. We'll move on to the equipment and technological briefing from Nathan.
We upgraded our admin phone system through Pacific Office. We've replaced the CAD computers with much smaller form factor devices to give us more room and more airflow. We are working with Motorola and Day Wireless to get some Vesta command posts so we can take calls outside of this building in an emergency. A couple of weeks ago, one of our contractors noticed that the electrical panel and the transfer switch were pulling away from our building. So we're working with Hughes Electric to get a quote to replace that or fix it. Dispatch has all new chairs, as some of you have seen. We are working on go kits to be more prepared for emergencies where we need to evacuate. And tomorrow we're going to be participating in iron ore. It's put on through OEM, where we're going to be setting up a fully functional dispatch workstations down in Salem, where we could take phone calls, dispatching CAD, and use the radio system. Any questions?
Hearing no questions. Thank you, Nathan. Moving on to the director's report.
Afternoon, everybody. It's nice to have a quorum. This is great. Go over a few things. Going backwards on our radio system, the Meisner construction project that we've been working on over the last year and a half is basically complete. All of our portion is complete, I should say, with construction. What we have been doing is working on the paperwork. We had, excuse me, we had a request from Columbia River PUD for a co-location agreement. Over the last couple of months, we've completed that agreement. Columbia PUD is working with Day Wireless to install equipment within our shelter and place RF equipment on the tower. So that's ongoing. The district continues with conversations with the Columbia Amateur Radio Group and the Hood to Coast to finalize their co-locations agreements. The district is wanting to work with ODF Legal Counsel to update our original lease agreement for that site. It's antiquated, so we'll be reaching out to their counsel here shortly. The Next Gen Radio Project, on July 14th, Senator Ron Wyden was in town holding the town hall. The district attended. He has assigned a staff member to work with us regarding our future project for the Next Gen radio system. Those conversations are ongoing. That's, we have telephone meetings with their designee. Next week, the board will be receiving an update from Federal Engineering during a special meeting of the board. No action will be taken. This is a contract required update from Federal regarding the Motorola system proposal and the negotiations that are ongoing with them. The end of July, the new M&I, this is the microwave link between Corey Hill, Vernonia, and the Classic 9 Tower was put into operation. And by all reports, that's working great. Much better performance than our previous link. M&I, who's our microwave contractor, was here in the building in the first week of August. They were conducting training sessions with Day Wireless. They will be the first tier responder to any system issues, as well as regular preventative maintenance for that those microwave hops. We have wrapped up the official project and process in the final interviews. In early July, the district submitted an invitation to bid. We were looking for a public relations firm, a public affairs organization to help us with, the district used to do quarterly newsletters. And we discontinued those 3 or so years ago, frankly, because we're not publicists. We're not marketing people. And that's a whole thing. So we, at the end of July, we sent a letter of intent to Coastline PR. And with them, they have helped us resurrect our newsletter. That was sent out a month or so ago. We'll be continuing working with them to produce that newsletter on a quarterly basis. As most of you know, the district submitted a ballot title and question summary to the county for this next week's election. In August, the board formed Columbia 911 Border Boundary Review Committee. This has to do with our board is made up of 5 elected folks from 5 different zones in the county. And there's a statute or language within the statute that those boundaries need to be looked at every 10 years. So the district board has developed a boundary review committee. It's made up of board members and staff. And we'll be in the future working on how to do that. We've had conversations with the county elections office, and we have some challenges here because it's all tied to the every 10-year census that the federal government conducts. The problem with Columbia County is that our population base isn't. The survey, the Census Bureau does not individually count people. They count communities. And so that's a challenge to us because our requirements by statute is based on population, not by voters. And that's what the county has, is the voters of each zone. So we're going to work through that along with the county. This past August, the agency held its annual barbecue and picnic. It was well attended by staff and families. Annual awards were presented to staff members. Over the last month and a half, agency staff and board members have been doing community outreach. This is related to the levy that's on next week's ballot. there's a list of folks that we have visited with, including Columbia County Fire Defense Board, Plattsburgh Fire Board, Columbia County Senior Health Resource Fair, City of St. Helens City Council, Plattsburgh City Council, City of Rainier City Council, South Columbia Chamber of Commerce, Port of Columbia Commission, Scappoose Fire Preparedness Fair, City of Rainier Chamber of Commerce, South Columbia Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum, Scappoose Fire Board, Miss Birkenfeld Fire Board, Columbia County Commissioners. The City of Rainier held a state representative social. We were there. Vernonia City Council and this week, St. Helens Kiwanis. The last thing, Columbia 911 is a special district and we work with Special Districts Association. They're holding their annual conference. It's being held this year and our board members attend that. A lot of our fire districts attend that, and it's an education for board members and management staff. All things special districts, laws, best practices, board of directors, education, etc. That's my report. I'll take any questions.
I'll ask Mike, and I apologize for being late, but, so in the event that and maybe you can answer this, in the event that the levy does not pass, what's the plan for 911? Can you go out again? And again, I might know some of the answer, but I don't know all of it.
Yeah, sure.
And then what would be then the plan to move forward, put it out on ballot again, or is this the second time, so you get a third strike, right?
Yeah.
And then failing that, what would be 911's?
Keep going back. So, and besides going back out to the voters, different strategies will be taken. Of course, if it doesn't pass in November, for public education for the next election, which would be May 25. So that will be continuing if it doesn't pass. Other things that we do, we are preparing for is what you would expect is cutting where we can. Where we are right now is we still do a revenue loss reserve account. And the district has had those reserve accounts since 1991. And specific to the revenue loss, its sole purpose is just what it says, revenue loss. And so we tried to maintain a balance in that account that would equate to an estimated 1 year's revenue of the special option levy. So somewhere in the $1.7, $1.8 billion was the balance of that account. In May, when our ballot measure did not pass, we knew that we were going to have a deficit for the next fiscal year. So July 1st, the board authorized the transfer of that balance of revenue loss into the general fund. That is what keeps the lights on. That is why we haven't laid off any staff, because those funds will hold us until June 30. So moving forward, that account is basically exhausted. So we will either start making significant reductions on some of our services. That would be deferring maintenance on our gensets, our HVACs, the radio systems. We will postpone all that because that cost is constant. We're already looking at other things that we can reduce expenditures. People's one of them. That levy equates to about 50% of our staff. So we'll be looking at that. And then the other thing that we always do is what other revenue streams could we help replace those funds? The district has a history going back a few decades, but they had user fees, and the district is looking at a formula for that. We're not going to take any action and haven't taken any action because obviously next week is the determination of what steps may have to follow or not. All those things are on the table.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay, hearing none, moving on. This is our roundtable time. If there's anybody from the advisory committee that would like to bring up anything for our roundtable. It could be communication policy issues, interdisciplinary items of interest, effective practice tips, etc. Okay, hearing none, moving on. Any announcements for the committee? All right, so our next meeting would be January 28th here at Columbia 911. I can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, adjourned at 12:23. Thank you, everybody.